Hello, my name is Justin Sutton, and welcome back to the Formula SimRacing 2016 recap of the first half of the season for the World Championship Series, sponsored by Thrustmaster. After an exciting first round, the calendar heads to the night race of Bahrain, where Brylyak, Parisas, and Brzezinski finished on the podium last year. After the highlight from round 1 featured a fantastic battle, the main highlight for this round is the strategy Madcape ran with their drivers, resulting in Parisas fighting for the podium after starting from 21st. Heading into the race weekend, it was Parisas leading the championship and followed by Brzezinski, Simoncic, Patel, and Bagazzi, although Parisas had a back-of-grid penalty after a qualifying infringement in Australia. At the end of the formation lap, it was Kiss on pole, with Patel alongside him and D'Alessandro and Kvekel on row 2, while Parisas would need to keep his nose clean from 21st position. When the lights went out, the top three all had good launches, giving them a relatively stress-free run down to the first corner, but the same couldn't be said for Kvekel, who had to do battle with his teammate as Brzezinski shot around the outside of turn 1. A bit further back, Parisas had a fantastic start to his Grand Prix, picking off a number of positions and moving up to P13 before the end of the first lap, despite the medium compound tires fitted to his car, in an excellent display of racecraft showing the perfect balance of aggressiveness and intelligence. With Parisas up to 13th and his teammate in 11th, Madcape must have been thinking about the strategy already. Most top teams would go for a 3-stop, but perhaps Madcape could try an alternate strategy. A few laps later, and Parisas continued his offensive, making use of the DRS on the main straight to slip past Kostadinov for 12th position. After 8 laps of racing, the field was still very close, with many drivers in the top 10 getting DRS in this opening stint. Neither pole sitter Kiss nor race leader Patel was able to build a consistent gap, which meant the pit stop phase would be crucial. It was Ghost Speed that pulled the trigger first, having both of their drivers come into the pits. Many of the other drivers in the top 10 came into the pits shortly after, with Kvekel continuing on for another lap. Jeroen had been stuck in the big train behind the leader for the entire first stint after a poor start. By staying out longer, he allowed himself to cut through the field during the second stint. A few laps later, and Parisas continued his offensive. The VB Madcape cars were now in very close proximity, and with the assistance of DRS, he was able to grab the much-needed clean air for his charge. Both of the VB Madcape cars dove into the pits on the medium compound tires they had started the race on and fitted another set of the primes with just 37 laps remaining. Both of them exited the pits into clean air and with fresher tires than the frontrunners and looked good for a 2-stop strategy. Start of lap 25, and Patel gets a surprise at the pit exit as he suddenly thrust into battle with Manoussakis. Patel, with the fresher yet colder tires, had the inside line for the hairpin, but the outside line for turn 2. He carried a bit more speed on the straight, however, forced Manoussakis to defend the inside line for turn 4, where he encountered some oversteer, allowing 2 cars by and leaving Patel in clean air. Lap 31, and with Parisas leading from just outside of DRS range, D'Alessandro in second position had a spin at turn 13, which allowed not just Patel and Kvekel by, but actually dropped him down to P9 in the space of 10 seconds. Simultaneously, while the field was navigating themselves around D'Alessandro, there was an overtake from Kvekel heading into turn 1 for what was now second position. Patel defended the inside line, but Jeroen was on a charge. Kvekel set his crosshairs on Parisas, again going around the outside at turn 1. Parisas seemed to get a better run through 2 and 3, but didn't have the straight line speed to launch a counteroffensive into turn 4. 1 lap later, and Patel was all over the back of Parisas. This time, Jim didn't defend the inside line, however, and Patel made the relatively easy move and turned his focus towards Kvekel. Parisas continued to struggle soon after Patel's move as Bagazzi dropped him to 4th position with an easy overtake before the turn 1 braking zone. Both drivers pitted on lap 42, but Patel had undercut them, and Kvekel pitted earlier than all 3 of them. Bugatti tried to move at turn 1 on the primes but couldn't cut it, and although Parisas was now the only one on the options, he wouldn't move up any higher through the field. In the end, Jeroen won by 3 seconds, and Bugatti did make his move on Patel eventually, grabbing second by just 7/10, with Parisas 10 seconds adrift in P4 after starting at the back of the grid. In the championship, Parisas holds on to the lead with a 9-point gap to Bugatti, but then the field gets very tight with Patel just 1 point off in third position. Kvekel finally starts his championship after a DNF in Australia, putting him on par with Simoncic, but because of the win in Bahrain, he's claimed 4th in the standings already. Jeroen's teammate Kuba Brzezinski isn't far off in 6th position, and then there's a 10-point gap to Kiss and Mashuli, with Partington and Greco rounding out the top 10 on 6 points apiece. That concludes our highlight coverage of the Formula Sim Racing World Championship Round 2 from Bahrain, sponsored by Thrustmaster. If you have a highlight from the third round at the Circuit de Catalunya, leave a comment below and we'll consider using it for the next video. If you'd like to get involved in FSR, please visit our website at formula-simracing.net or check us out on social media at facebook.com/Formula Sim Racing and twitter.com/F1 Sim Racing. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time for Round 3 in Barcelona.